I bet you can lift up the car from the back just by yourself. What's your deadlift records?
It's 425.
425. So this car weighed 1,500 pounds, but the engine's at the back though.
No, I went here in 30.
Nope.
It is light though. Sean and I could do it, but Sean's back is hurt right now, so I won't ask him.
What about the front? Just no engine.
You turned it off the outside and I went 15 in.
You want to pick this color?
But either way, it's still.
Almost. This is suspension.
Sean feels better. Him and I will move this car. Him and I, we pick up cars together. We start a car. Yeah! Poor decisions.
Wait.
Let's go.
His back hurt.
You ready?
Oh my gosh.
3, 2, 1.
Did it?
It hurts.
Nowhere to grab it. Man, you guys need to buy one. Buy a van.
We should.
Very fun.
As soon as I started to go, Mark dropped his hand.
What? You just started going? Yeah, I was like still trying to get a.
Hold on, let me just grab these gloves.
All right, we'll get some gloves. I'll see you grab those.
Is there a thing that I can, like a spray I can fix the plastic?
I really don't know.
Is it something I can buy?
They do have.
Use torches.
They do have like a trim spray.
Trim spray?
Yeah,
Okay.
that will make that black again.
Okay.
Like, it'll probably work.
Yeah, I need to buy that.
I know. I've seen people do it with a torch.
Yeah? You
Oh,
want to try it?
I see. I've seen
even.
Tim work with a torch that it burned through something.
You want to try it?
just kind of bring the plastic.
It's like
Nah, I've seen Tim use the torch. Oh no.
Yeah, let's see if it works.
Oh. Okay.
try it behind.
I always wanted to try this on somebody else's car. You're like kind of far away.
Wow. What's the science behind it?
Hot.
Look at that.
So just paint it.
Oh, what?
Let's see. Shave like that. And then just hit it with some back and black. All fresh. Or some Armor All. Shine it up real good.
Whoa.
I think it also works with like, you have dents in the plastic. When it's like dented in, you could like heat it, shrink it back, and then like pour ice water on it.
Oh yeah. The heat strength and the ice cold temperature difference.
But
This is crazy.
This guy should have done it before he sold it to you.
that's painting with fire.
I was trying to buy something from Amazon to see if I can bring it back. Get a rat on the back. And I'm looking for something that can fix the headlight. Probably not the torch.
They don't. Do they have like they don't look like they're like super. It's just like yellow.
Yeah, that helps.
That works pretty good, huh?
Yeah, you should get the little top.
Just burning off the oxidation.
It's crazy.
Send the payment to Tim's torches.
No way this worked, and it looks really good.
I don't know how long it lasts, but looks good.
Next,
You
I
have
just
to do
have to
this every few months. That's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, you're right.
The gas tank was looking a little gray. Maybe we can try that.
Yeah. I'll make it real shiny, real quick.
The whole car will be nice and heat treated by the end.
Not too bad for a couple minutes.
Fresh.
Yeah, it looks fresh now.
The more you know.
Yep, it's ready to go now. To the car show.
Mike did it.
All right, let's pick this.
Let's go to the Honda meet. Come on, Eric. We gotta go to Honda meet this year.
Yeah, let's do
A
it.
little bit longer than it should get shinier. But I'm sure there's a real fine line between shiny and melted. Oh, got rid of the tiger stripe.
I like that.
Looks fresh.
That looks fresh now.
Yeah, bro.
Like Mark said, I paid probably $1,000 over just because of the bumper.
You're good to go.
Oh man.
Look at that.
Thank you, Michael.
Mike's
Ready for cars and coffee.
restoration. Yeah, that's all you need is a torch. All right, brother. I'm gonna figure out where to hold it. Right here. 1, 2, 3. That makes it easier to get to this.
How you feeling, Sean?
I'm good.
All right, good.
I'm good.
He's still in shock.
Yes, sir.
I'm impressed. Look how much fun they have with the Honda Acti. You don't need a GT3 RS, you just need a Honda Acti.
I mean, I'll take the GT3.
I mean, we could swap. I'll buy one of these and we'll trade. Let me know. I'll buy 3 of these and we'll trade.
Too. You can take that.
How many RT I can buy with the GT3 RS?
What?
Other way around.
Oh, how many RT I can buy with the GT3 RS? Oh, this is the MSRP. Divided by 5,000. By 50. We can buy 50 RT.
Bro, 50 homies on the freeway, completely shut down, cruising, mobbing the streets.
Yeah.
homies.
You cannot tell me that would be the most fun you've ever had in your life. That would be a great time.
Yeah. We can park at a parking lot, make
Just
some,
tipping their cars.
we can use the RT to make a track on the parking lot and let the other RT run on it.
All right, Eric, hear me out. This is a terrible idea, but I'm gonna tell it to you anyways. You know, we watched this car kind of jump around a little bit.
Uh-huh.
We should get some switches in this thing.
What
Get some
switch?
airbags in this thing.
Oh, you mean dropping it?
You don't have to drop it. It could stay at this height and you just like Tim's car. It'll pop around.
They
Like
have,
hydros.
they have room for the tank too. Straight
You
to
have,
the
you have
back.
tons of room for the tank.
Yeah.
Put it under the seat.
That will very depends on the cost though.
Oh, it costs a ton because you'd have to do new suspension.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work on this, but it'd be fun.
That would be
If
probably
you made it truck hop,
Oh, you mean like hopping?
yeah, you could have it hop.
Oh.
You could have it hop but from
On the back.
Yeah, so it just kicks up and down.
I have plans for it. I have like
I think your plans are better than my ideas. So just stick to your plans.
okay. A pair of spring for the front is like $70 on this thing. Hey.
Oh, wow,
Nice, you're good. For the video.
Oh, this is the flip down one. Yeah. Like the whole size flip down and everything.
I see the hinges on here. Is this truck down?
It's bolted. All right, now you need some TEs to put on it.
Making some 15s. And then put UTV tires. And we're gonna go off-road.
This is a 4-wheel drive?
Yeah, all time.
Real time.
Real
All time.
All time, real
Good
time.
time.
You're doing some real time?
Real time. 4-wheel drive.
Yeah. Hey, we bring this up with the Hummer to
Probably just throw it on top of the spare tire, dude. We can
So
lift it up.
I have another ideas for a real video is putting this on the back of a F250 or 350, put a mini bike on the back of this, and put another thing on the top of the mini bike.
mini bike.
Yeah, and then we have to go mini bike, zoom out the van, zoom out the F250, zoom out on a trailer.
zoom out
Wait, the
on a
F-250
flatbed.
on a trailer?
Yeah.
Dang. Then the trailer in like a cargo plane.
Yeah, on top of a cargo plane.
No, the trailer on top of a yacht inside of a cargo plane.
Boom.
In space on the moon.
Let us know. We need funding.
Yeah. We're starting to GoFundMe.
We'll start by buying the yacht and we'll work backwards.
Well, I'm sure the cargo plane will be more than the yacht, but
You think so?
yeah.
I think we're thinking of different yachts.
Yeah. The yacht that would fit on a cargo plane would definitely cost less than a cargo plane. Unless you have a cargo plane on a yacht. Then that's a different story. That's a big ass
You're thinking now, Mike.
That's some shit. That's a cargo shit. That's an aircraft carrier right there.
All right, fellas, we're on our way to go to the costume store. We're buying a couple beards and we're buying hopefully like a medieval wizard type outfit. Not beers.
Beard. Oh.
Beards.
Damn. Tim, what you doing right there?
Tim, you need to stop playing on your phone all the time, man. It's not healthy.
I'm just playing Raid, you know.
Tim, stop trying to level up your clan. It's time to work.
Trying to get Raid going, you know. Get some raids in.
Whoa.
Transitions.
All right, so
Someone died.
before I so rudely interrupted you, where are we going?
We're buying beards and an outfit to film a promo.
We like beers. What? Where are we?
We're at the costume store. I've never been here. Actually.
This is crazy.
It's pretty nice. We've been here a few times.
Do you wear costumes a lot, Tim? You into cosplay?
Cosplay is cool. I haven't done it. That's crazy. That's crazy. The torches of Tim.
Welcome to the lair. Yes, that's the one.
We're in the wrong eye.
That's the one, Tim. Yo, this is like a costume place. I thought we were going to like a party city or something.
This is a costume.
This is, what kind of hat is he gonna wear?
No, Tim. Beards.
Yo, a Papasaurus Rex.
Oh, dude, look at that. Oh,
Yeah, that's a hat.
That's a hat.
great analysis.
Pick me up.
Here.
The inflatable wiener.
No! The Glizzy Mobile. That's great. Here.
No.
Yeah, put those on.
Pickle Rick action.
No. Okay.
On top of your glasses.
Glasses on glasses. The Mr. Potato Head. Yes, sir.
So this one's good, right?
Can we give Tim a mullet?
But I'm looking for one that we can get to like be a beard, you know? Look at all the Fortnite stuff over there for you, Tim.
This is the dark side.
This is hella dark over here, dude. This is
Spooky.
yo for real. I'm good on that. Yo, there's some freaky shit in the costume store.
Yeah, man. In a lot of different ways. Ah, yes.
Headshot.
I'm getting attacked.
Mike, why is there salt on the floor?
Basically, I don't know how much salt is in the water table, but underground there is salt, water, and oil that's basically being pushed up through the concrete. So that's why the floors look like that. There's different spots, and sometimes we come into the shop and we see like rust, and that is actually coming through the ground. So interesting spot here in Huntington Beach. It's like, I don't know if we're exactly at sea level or slightly below or slightly above. I don't know if the beach comes up and then the roads go down a little bit. I'm not sure, but whatever's going on underground is actually pushing that stuff through. Pretty crazy.
Does that makes this technically a beach house?
I mean, I think people have lived here before, so I guess it is a beach house.
We have three 32-inch monitors, 1440p. I mean, this thing's just absolutely badass. It has our billet integrated monitor mount kit, which is sweet because it puts these monitors on a swing arm. So you can get them really tight to the driver when they're sitting inside of it, get a really good field of view, nice perspective. but then you still have the ability to get in and get out because they're on a swing arm. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. This PC is completely loaded. It has an i9 14900K 4090 NVIDIA graphics card. I mean, it's completely water cooled. They stacked this thing with 96 gigabytes of RAM. So at no point is this PC gonna run into a problem where it stutters or flickers or anything like that. It's gonna be able to handle, I mean, so many different applications at the same time. You can stream while you're racing. The capabilities of this PC are really high. Origin PC, they did a great job on this. So right now I'm bolting together the inverted box for the hydraulic pedals. These hydraulic pedals are made, we make them in Vegas. The brand is Sim Coaches, and they're fully hydraulic. The real benefit to pedals like this is you can actually tune them to feel just like the car or the pedals that are inside your race car. I mean, you can make them literally one-to-one. They can create the same amount of pressure, the same force required on the brake to slow the car down, and then that's how you build that muscle memory, you know? Simulators, they're really only super special if you can make it feel like a car. If it feels like just a little toy or a gimmick, then you're not building any muscle memory at all. You know, you're at that point just playing a game. So right here is where all the hydraulics are at, and they actually function just like a real car. Inside of the reservoir here, you have DOT5 brake fluid. When you press the pedal, it produces a lot of pressure inside of the slave cylinder here, and then that's what actually compresses and gives you the feel underneath your foot. The real secret to what makes Sim Coach's hydraulic pedals so much different is, number one, we manufacture the cylinder in-house. So we really focus on sim specific cylinders, so they are very over-engineered in terms of how much pressure they can hold, so you don't have any leaks with the hydraulic fluid. But then number two, the springs that we put on the shaft, they're bevel washers. So they're cupped, something like this. You can actually see two of them right here. They're cup springs. So when you put them together like that, it creates a little pack or a cup of them. And then as you add pressure, this pack compresses, and that's what gives you the realistic feel in your foot. You don't want to use, polyurethane bushings or anything like that, because at that point, it takes away the advantage from the hydraulic pedal. You want something that actually creates a lot of pressure and feels more realistic underneath your foot. So this is the Huracan GT3 race car wheel, and this is going to be on the DDE simulator so that they can actually have the one-to-one practice when they're holding on the wheel. They can get that, they actually feel like they're holding onto the Huracan steering wheel that they're going to be driving in track in real life. Now, beyond having this wheel with the paddle shifters and buttons on the front, we also wanted to equip this with the capabilities to do drifting. Obviously, Mike does a ton of drifting, and we want Mike to be able to, have fun on this. And so beyond the paddle shifters, we also have the H pattern shifter, as well as the Sim Coach's hydraulic handbrake. Now, these are super dope because the handbrake actually requires the same force when you're pulling it to collapse the cylinder. So you actually feel like, you're pulling a real handbrake. The H pattern shifter has really good engagement. You can tell every single gear that you're in, and you can hear it click. I mean, it has such good tactile feedback. Every single gear that you're in. So this thing is decked out so we can give them all the practice that they need. Do GT3 cars, Formula cars, drifting, circle track. This thing has all the capabilities so that they can have some fun.
You ever built a PC, Sean?
Yeah, I probably built maybe 20.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that like a hustle for a time?
During COVID, I got into building PCs.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How many cars do you have left?
Probably 5.
Really?
Yeah. Well, not in computers.
Just
just hanging out.
new in a box.
So you
Yeah.
bought at the high.
But I got 3 or 4 personal built computer. Yeah. I'm stupid.
I mean, it's terrible
He needs 4
financial
computers.
decisions.
Yeah. So basically, during COVID, just started learning how to do
That's good.
PCs was one of them.
I learned how to do some stuff too. I went to college, and then I left college.
So, Mike, you drifted mainly BMWs, right?
Yeah, my first season that I drifted in pro was 2009, and I had a RX-7 FC with an LS1 motor in it. Yeah. It worked though. It's that's what got me in, to pro drifting, was actually having a car that ran, because I had a rotary in it for a while. It would always break. So then I was like, I'm so tired of this. I'm over it. Took the rotary out, dropped the stock LS1 in there, and did 20 something events in a year. Got my pro license, and then ran pro that year in 2009. I think I finished 11th overall in my first season with a 350 horsepower car. So yeah, I ran that car for that year, and then I built E92 BMW with a V10 sequential transmission. Thing screamed, it sounded so good, but only made 450 horsepower.
and like 330 pounds of torque, just normally aspirated. So at the end of that season, I was thinking, should I twin turbo this thing? Should I do a bunch of nitrous on it? Like, how do I get this thing to have more power? And I was just worried about the V10, like how much power it could actually take and how expensive they were, especially at that time in 2010. They were still pretty pricey because they came out in like 2006, so they weren't that old. So then I decided, you know what? I'm not going to run this car in drifting anymore. We're going to turn it into a road race car, and I'm going to build a Z4 with an S54 turbo. So 2011 and 2012, I ran a Z4 with a S54 turbo at about 650 horsepower. And then the next year, 2013, I built an E46, transferred everything over from the Z4 because it's all basically the same stuff. So whole drivetrain, quick change diff, axles, all that stuff. Took it out of the Z4, put it in E46, and instantly the first test day, I was like, this is it. This is the car. I was so comfortable in it. Everything's the same, all the suspension geometry, but it was a longer wheelbase, so it was just way more stable. So ran that, won the championship in 2013. Then I ran that car in 2014. And then in 2015, I got sponsored by SLP, which was owned, actually just got bought by Roush. So Roush bought SLP. So Roush is like all Ford and SLP is like all Chevy. So they bought this other brand and they decided to sponsor me with I think it was a 2013 Camaro SS. And they were like, we'll have Roush Yates build you a motor. Don't worry about it. Just build the chassis and we'll supply the drivetrain. So I'm like, all right, cool. They gave me the car, build it out. We're getting closer and closer to the start of the year. I'm like, well, I gotta get this thing running. So I took the engine that they had in there, which was like it was an LS3 with a supercharger on it. Their supercharger, SLP supercharger. So it made like 500 horsepower. I put that in the car, started testing. Then it came up to Long Beach. The engine wasn't ready yet. Ran that in Long Beach, and then I'm like, all right, maybe in Long Beach it'll be okay. It's a slower track, but the track after that's Atlanta, and it's fast. I need more power. No engine. Went to the next event, no engine. Next event, no engine. Still stock engine with like 50,000 miles of absolute abuse on this thing because it was their test vehicle for the supercharger. So now I'm like, I got to do something. So I put like 150 shot of nitrous on it to get a little bit more power. And it just sounded flat. It was a bone stock LS3 with a supercharger, so it was pretty soft in a big, heavy car. And then at the end of the year, there was like no support. The budget was really low, so I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to run this car anymore. I sold that thing, and I went back to the E46, and then I ran the E46 until 2022. Lots of years in that car.
There it is. Yeah.
There you go.
There's the wait.
Wait, you got some? Yeah. Oh, that's it.
There's the car.
There it is. That's what it started out as.
Yeah.
And then
There he is.
Yeah.
Some guy standing next to Mike's car.
I gotta say that was the best looking Camaro in that body style that I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah. Like, so Brett King, who designs liveries and paints helmets, like, guy is insanely good. So he designed the livery for that car. Matte black wrap with the red pinstripes and stuff, and it just looked like real hot rod, but also really modern. So yeah, as far as Camaros goes, it was coolish. Yeah.
You made it work.
I kind of made it work. I tried to make it work. I adapted. So I bought this like angle kit for it, and it was terrible. Like terrible. Car drove terribly. So I hit up Wisefab and I bought E92 front suspension from Wisefab and adapted it to a Camaro and like made camber plates and chopped the arms up and made everything work. And then it was actually pretty good. Like the car worked pretty well. It just never had enough power. So
There's Mike's other car.
yeah.
What color was that?
It was a Saab.
What kind of
Yeah.
what kind of color is Saab?
Well, that's a manufacturer, right?
Yeah. So it was like a
Jets.
yeah.
Exactly. They know what's up.
But it was like this metallic yellow green. I can't remember what it was called, but it was a really
crazy.
it was a really sick color. And then I had the those super bright orange wheels. Mm-hmm.
Did you have that same orange on the 92?
Was
it different?
No, it was a different orange. So those are Graham lights.
Yeah.
And they had this crazy orange, and it was like kind of like the Lark Pink, where it's so many layers of paint, and it's like it was like eggshell white and then this, and then another layer, and then a bunch of layers of this orange to get it to be that color. But you know, going and trying to get a powder coated wheel to match that, it just wasn't going to happen. So when I ran the E92, we just did orange wheels on it, but it wasn't the same orange. It wasn't as cool.
Yeah. It looked cool. It is very different though.
Yeah, so it started out the first half of the season black, and we were just looking at all the photographs, and
Like,
it just kind of hides the car. So we're like, you know, we need to paint it a different color. So we painted it silver, and it really stood out and looked a lot better, especially at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks sick.
Yeah, that's cool, dude. Let me see if I can find the Z4.
Yeah, that was a fun car. So difficult to drive, but I learned a lot in that thing.
Yeah.
Just always fighting it.
Oh, here we go. The old body style.
Yeah, so that was the first year that I ran it without a roof. And
Without a roof?
And it rained. Dude, I was looking for a roof, and they're so rare, the factory
Really?
roofs. So I ended up having to buy one from a dealership, and it was like $5,000. And I'm like, man, I'm just going to cut this thing up and take everything out of it. But I had to, because I literally made a roof out of duct tape at one of the events. So I'm just sitting there in like this bathtub, just getting rained on
Yeah.
in the middle of the event. And it was miserable.
Yeah, look at this guy. Mike's crazy. But then you have the
That's
hood.
wild.
And this one's all cut up too.
Yeah, it had big like hood vents in there.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, it was fun.
The internet is awesome. It is cool that you can go back. I've even gone back before on his YouTube channel, and you can see, you know, older videos of him drifting the RX-7 and stuff like that, and like cool clips and stuff. It's just fun to see.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that all of that stuff is around somewhere.
Yeah,
You just
exactly.
look it
It's
up.
like it's still alive. It's,
Yeah.
yeah. You
Mike,
can go
how did
look
you
at-
actually come to have your own YouTube channel? Like, did you actually wanted to start
I
like
kinda-
being a YouTuber, or
No, not at all.
just for yourself?
It
probably
was
like-
it was just like I had these videos and I wanted to show a few people or share it with a few people. So I'm like, I just upload it to YouTube and send them a link. So it was never like, all right, I'm gonna try to figure out how to build this channel and all that. It was just like every once in a while when I had a cool video, I threw it up there, and that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like some videos from FD and stuff on there, and there's just like Mike did cool stuff. Occasionally he filmed it.
Yeah.
Once in a while he'd post it, and that was about it. And they'd be like, all right, cool.
I mean, a lot of it was filmed, and you know, the sponsor would post it on their pages
course.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like thinking about making a YouTube video, no, never, not until I came here.
So you've built, like, if you had to do was there ever a platform along the way that you were like, I'd like to build or I'd be interested in trying to build a drift car on this platform? Because you did the RX-7, you did a Camaro, you did a couple different BMW platforms. Is there another brand that you've considered?
Yes, obviously Porsche. So the reason I have that white Cayman chassis is because I wanted to build that into a drift car.
Okay.
But it was just, you know, trying to find the sponsors to build it because I didn't want to, you know, spend a bunch of my own money to build it.
Yeah. Custom
At that
parts,
point-
brand new. Yeah.
Exactly. Like I had my pro car. I wanted to build this Cayman as a demo car. Actually, that happened instead of the Cayman.
Okay.
It made more sense for FCP Euro at the time. So that's what happened. But maybe someday. But yeah, my plan was, Sean, cover your ears. So I was going to put an LS motor in it.
Sean, we told you.
Don't cover your ears. You did that to yourself.
Oh God, dude.
No, it's not.
Your boy.
It's not because I'm like a diehard LS guy. I'm not. But it's a lightweight, little engine, and for making 550, 600 horsepower, it is so easy. It's so reliable. It's so cheap. It's lightweight. So it's all aluminum. Like really, really easy to get that power out of it. So I'm like, all right, LS with 600 horsepower. Yep. You know, some sort of sequential transaxle, but that was kind of like the tough part. Like transaxles are expensive, so it's gonna be like 25 grand for a transmission. With like literally the whole car I could have built for like 25 grand.
Yeah.
Except for that transmission. So that in a Cayman with small tires on it, lightweight, I think that thing would have absolutely shredded.
That would be like the perfect formula for a drift car.
I think it would be
your book?
really, really good. So some tracks, huh?
You said it would be really, really boring. Yeah.
No, it would be pretty sick. It'd be really sick. I was gonna do so. Basically, there's actually a guy now that did a Cayman. It's a road race car, but with an LS, and he did an 8-into-1 exhaust, and that's what I was like, all right. So in the back of the Cayman, it's the transaxle. You got the engine and the transaxle, so you build the headers up, and you have 8-into-1 collectors, and then it comes out of the deck lid. Like, dude, it'd be so sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, a guy did that, and it's a pretty cool car.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's a DOS Purist, I think, because it's pretty sick.
So you're putting a would that be a lighter weight engine than it would already have, or about the same? If you were to go LS.
It's actually lighter.
Okay.
So the Porsche motor is a flat 6.
Yeah.
But on those M96, which is that model of the engine, inside of the aluminum case is this steel crankcase kind of internal holder thing. So basically, instead of caps,
Yeah.
you know, like in a block that hold the crank in place, it's these huge things that clamp the crank together. And then from there, the two case halves like go together and bolt on. And then you've got these like, you know, the cylinders basically are there. And then the heads, but they're pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So we did a 996, and we put an LS3 in it, and we saved weight.
Yeah.
And picked up we just bought like one of those LS3 crate motors.
Yeah.
It was like 450 horsepower and like 440 pounds of torque, just out of the box.
Yeah.
Dry sump, bolted in. The car is alive. It's ripping. So that guy blew the motor up, the stock 3.6 motor in his 996, and we're looking for used motors, and they're like $20,000 for 100,000 mile 996.
Jeez. And like the LS you could build for 20 grand, like you'd have a good time.
Dude, I
Good
built a lot of these Porsche motors for customers.
Yeah.
And they're like, you take this engine that's already worth like 20 grand, of
course,
and you rebuild it, and it's like 25 grand to rebuild it. Jeez. And you still, now you have like a 340 horsepower, you know, $50,000 motor.
Yeah.
Or you drop the LS in it, and
The motor's 20 grand and it costs 25 grand to rebuild it?
Yep.
Why don't you just buy another one for 20 grand?
because it's stock and it's going to blow up soon.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're gonna switch that over.
Not rebuild.
Yeah, well, you know, if you're already going to have it apart, so it's got like these Nicosil kind of, it's like the cylinders are aluminum with a spray-on coating.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so rebuilding it basically means like sleeving it, and then you do new pistons, and you're doing pistons, might as well do rods, and then there's just a ton of labor involved in it. So yeah, they're pretty pricey to rebuild.
So if you're throwing, you're going to save weight obviously, but it's going to be a mid-rear engine drift car. You know, so like you're going into the corner, handbrake, more weight in the rear than you know, like your BMW or this car or any other car here, right?
Yeah.
Would that be much harder to slide? Obviously, it'd be a different curve, but like
it's definitely twitchier.
Okay.
So the more weight you have in the rear, the more it wants to either over rotate or snap the front straight. So you throw it sideways and you get a little bit of side bite and it wants to snap the front out. Or you throw it a little too hard and it just pendulum effect, like wants to keep going and loop around. But
If you get them right, like, dude,
Yes.
they're fast. You
So
got
you
a ton
have
of
weight.
grip in the rear. Like,
Yeah.
much weight on the rear tires.
you got the weight in the rear. Yeah. So
'cause you're
dialing it
putting
in
weight
right.
on top of the tires.
Exactly. It's just pushing down and loading those tires into the ground rather than the front engine car where it's like lifting this heavy engine in the front and you're trying to get the weight to transfer into the rear. So here's that Cayman
2.
with an LS with an 8-into-1.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. Yeah, he's got his, I don't know, some kind of Hans over there, but
Jeez.
yeah. Yeah, somebody sent me this and I was like, I wanted to do that. But props to this dude. They did a really clean job too. Like
Is
they
there
did
a
a lot of
clip of what it sounds like? Oh, with the scoop.
Yeah, they've got the scoop. Look at that. They've got the ITBs in there inside of like a
interesting.
case. Yeah, so you can see them.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
so
look at that, dude.
instead of going from the scoop straight into the intake, it's like scoop into ITBs.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. It's a beautiful car.
Yeah, it's really clean build.
Yeah.
Let's see if this one is Yeah, it needs a little work on it. It needs some. It's 8-to-1, but it doesn't rev high enough. It needs some tweaks, for sure. But cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like? Is that still like a road race car, right? That's
This guy's a road race car.
So for
but
a
I would have
road-
done a drift car and played with the weight balance a bit, and yeah.
for a road race car. Do you want high revving, or does it really like not matter too much?
It It doesn't really matter. It really depends on the gearing.
Okay.
So if you have a transmission that's geared for a high revving engine and you swap the engine out, so say like we take the Porsche transaxle and we put an LS on it,
Okay.
and say the LS only revs to 5,500 instead of 7,800.
Yeah, it's gonna drive terribly.
So your gearing is just going to be all off. Like your top speed's going to be lower because it's all about the rev. So each gear is going to be less speed, more shifts. But yeah, so if you play with the gearing and you get it right, it can definitely work in your favor. When you have a lower revving motor, it's usually a torquey motor, which you want longer gears anyway, because you don't want it to just and blow the tires off through every gear. So you want that like really loaded, kind of at the edge of traction, so you can be full throttle, but not be like feathering it the whole time and worrying about it like slipping.
And so I would imagine like with a turbo car, you know, you have to take other things in consideration of like how the boost is coming on with like braking the tires, right? But like for your E92 in a car, right? For that, what did that rev to? Like,
I think we had the rev limiter at 8,500 in that.
okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So
we had a Quaife sequential transmission and a quick change diff, so we could dial it in. Yeah.
So Sean, you built a crazy S2000, and those are notoriously like high revving.
Wait, which one?
You built one. You built one. When we were at Gretty, there was that crazy one that you hated.
Oh, no, I didn't.
It was crazy to me. I don't know, man.
No, that was just like the carb S2000 kit. So I did like all the R&D to get it carb legal for like a street. Registered.
California Air Research Board. So basically to aftermarket turbo kit that they designed and then got it to basically say, yes, this kit is smog legal. So you can put it on a car and it's not going to put out more emissions than it did from the factory, but it's a big process. But high revving.
Yeah.
S2000s from the factory are like 8,500 or something, right? Or 8,000.
Well, AP1 is 9,000, and then AP2 is like 82, yeah. It's 2 liter versus 2.2 liter.
Oh yeah.
So if you're gonna boost an S2000, is there like more you have to take in consideration since it's a higher revving engine, or is it?
Well, the other part, it's not just high revving, but it's also high compression.
Okay.
Because like NA Honda motors, they're really high compression from the factory, and that motor is basically like maxed out.
Do you remember what it is?
I want to say it's 12 to 1.
Yeah.
11 and a half or 12 to 1.
Yeah.
But well, that's for the AP1, the 2 liter. I forget about the AP2. But the biggest issue with that is once you start throwing boost in it, and we had to run pump gas with like California pump gas, we had a lot of issues with knob control. Yeah, so just like detonation. But yeah, it's just a constant back and forth thing. Like go to SEMA garage, like everything's good on the dyno. I'd take the car home, drive it for a week, back and forth, set all the readiness codes and everything. Everything's fine, and then like the second we leave, like drop the car off at SEMA garage, and then like get back to the shop, get a call like, oh, it's throwing a check engine light. It's like, dude, like what the hell? Like it'll be straight. Like we tested it for like a whole month one time. Same thing. As soon as we dropped it off, boom, check engine light. But there's like a specific process that they have to do. So, you know, it's like a lot of, you know, they have to leave it, set up all the machines and all this stuff, and then like let the car sit overnight because they have to do the first cold start, and then certain load conditions and stuff like that on the dyno. But it was a pain in the ass. I'd never want to do that again.
Yeah, I don't think people really understand the amount of work that goes into developing something like that for, you know, there's a lot of people that make like some bolt-on stuff like cold air intake or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not testing it. They're not trying to get it smog legal. They're just making a crappy pipe with a filter on it. And they do these big claims like, oh, it makes 28 more horsepower. No, it doesn't. It probably doesn't make any more power. Maybe it makes 1 or 2 horsepower. But somehow they do this, like they check the stock power with like a dirtiest air filter you could possibly find in old spark plugs. They do that baseline pull. Then they do like oil change, spark plugs. They take out that dirty filter and put their pipe on, and then boom, big horsepower claims.
But dude, like,
it's not realistic.
all right, so like I was doing pretty much all the R&D already, and like had a dyno to my disposal. And let me tell you, do not believe any of the manufacturers' things. Like from one run to another, not touching the car, Besides, you know, like you could do a lot of stuff and pick up like 15, 20 horsepower.
Yeah.
You know, like
Tire pressure.
ice on the intake manifold right after the run, like so you get your baseline and just get it super hot and heat soaked. Let it cool off. Throw ice on the manifold. Like put the fans. It'll pick up power. Like you can manipulate dynos so easy. Yeah. So don't listen to manufacturer dynos. Like it has to be a third party testing. Yeah.
Yeah, look and see what other people have done. Like, look at their baselines before, and then they do all these mods, and like, it's weird. I only picked up 6 horsepower, and I did all these mods. Like,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, don't trust graphs from the manufacturers. Yeah, it's got to be third party.
Yeah, the guys that are really doing it right, they spend so much money to do it. Like VF Engineering, they spend a ton
Hundreds
of
of
time
thousands.
and money. That's why their kits are expensive. Like the superchargers themselves are not that expensive, but designing the kit to make it work on the car and then going through the process to make that thing legal for the street, that's where all the money goes. It is.
And the problem is like, now you're talking about production. So, at least in the case of the S2000, you know, we're already dealing with a motor that's already pretty much on the edge and throwing boost at it. But we're doing all this tuning and testing and everything on our car.
Yeah.
But in order to go in production, you have to be like certain that when someone else puts it on their high mileage, you know, whatever car, they're not gonna have issues or like every motor is different, you know. So like when you do carb like turbocharged applications, you basically send them a lock ECU that's already mapped, like pre-mapped. They can't touch ignition or fueling or any of that. So you have to make the consumer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
basically, you have to make sure that that tune is safe and conservative to the point where it's going to work on a wide range of cars. But at the same time, you know, you're dealing with a turbo car.
Yeah.
So it has to be like spot on. So it's hard to like get that balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, it's a lot.
There's a lot of variables. A lot of things that can go wrong for sure. So you could take like, if you have a really fresh engine, your rings are really good, valves are sealing good, you might be able to run more boost and more timing.
Sure.
But then you send it to a guy who's got a 100,000 mile like beater. It's got it's just got tons of blow by and all these issues, and then you have that tune, you put it on that thing, boom, it blows up. Like, hey man, you sold me a bad kit. Like, now your motor was junk.
A bunch of people call in and then posting on forums and like basically kill your company, you know, your reputation. So yeah, R&D's big. Yeah.
Well, I've always wondered sometimes, but you know, I've been able to kind of understand it over time. You look at companies that make turbos, or they'll make like supercharger kits and stuff like that, and it's like you don't really see companies. With turbos, there are like you can kind of mix and match to get the turbo you need for your car, but you're not going to find these companies that just have like a supercharger kit for like every car on the market, because you're like, all right, we're gonna do Fords. This is what we're gonna do. It's so expensive, but we can do this car and we can do that car and pretty much be cool. We're gonna do Dodge because we can do the Charger and the Challenger and sell both of them, and we only have to do it on one engine, so we're good. But like, if you're gonna do these Honda stuff over here and you're gonna do these cars, and it's too expensive.
And this and that. Yeah, exactly. Trying to cross over. Yeah, I mean,
Like, we'll do Rams, Chevys, and Fords and call it a day.
Yeah.
Because they're not far enough apart to where it's gonna like cost us another few $100,000 to do it.
yeah, it's figuring out the market too. I mean, that's why
Yeah.
that's why like when the Supra came out, which is really a BMW Z4, the aftermarket like exploded with parts that could actually work on BMWs, because the modifying, like the car culture in the BMW world isn't like
Not the same.
in Toyota and Honda and stuff. They just,
like you're saying, like the name brands that are in that market.
well, it's like if like say my B58 engine is an early B58.
Yeah.
It's almost the same design as the modern like Supra B58, even though it's only like 5 years old.
Yeah.
But that engine doesn't have any aftermarket support, so I can't get cams for it. Everything's just a little bit different. But then the Supra and the Z4 share the same engine, so if you have a Z4, you can pull all these Toyota kind of parts because the aftermarket's there. Because guys that are buying Supras want to modify them, but guys that are buying Z4s probably don't even know what modifying a car means.
Yeah.
Like, they're very much it's like an older client base. They jump in the car, they drive it, they change the tires, they change the brake pads and oil, and they just drive it, and that's it. Like, they don't modify
It'd be
it.
hard for companies too, because it's like, all right, guys buy the Supra because they're Toyota guys or whatever, but it's really a BMW.
Yeah.
But the companies that are in that game that know those motors and how to tune and everything. Like the Toyota guys don't really know what's up with that market, so it's probably like a weird kind of.
It's definitely a weird mix. Like to see the stuff that's coming out, especially a few years ago when the Supra first came out, seeing all these mods they were doing, and it's so import.
Yeah.
But it's like, on a Euro car. It's just like, nah, you don't do it like that on this car. So you're probably throwing out like subpar stuff, but then you have like the BMW companies that could actually make some like legit parts for it. Nobody knows that name, so they're probably just like, we're not even gonna mess with it, or that's like not our market. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of sad.
Sean just bought a S2000 again because he had other cars and was like, I'll buy it
may or
again.
may not have a transmission. Have you found out yet?
No.
Might be manual, might have nothing.
What's your goal for that car? What do you want to do?
Probably turbo case swap.
Okay.
Yeah. Haven't decided 2 liter or 2.4, but yeah, I really want to do GLTC, like the Grid Life.
That'd be sick.
It's got to be NA then.
But yeah, if I do GLTC, it's got to be like an NA build. But it's probably gonna start out just swapping an NA and then do the turbo later. Probably
Honestly,
make the manifold.
lightweight NA cars are just so much fun to drive. They're reliable. It's just like
high revving
so,
NA.
Yeah.
Especially like a 2.4 liter in the S2000, like that pretty much makes up for everything that was missing. Because the 2 liter and the 2.2, 2.2 is a little bit better.
Yeah.
But both of them have no torque at all.
Yeah.
So like it's just trash to drive.
You
to,
gotta
like,
keep it spun up the whole time.
well,
like it's gotta be high on the revs.
on the
and-
freeway, if you shoot like cruising 65 in 6th gear, you got to downshift to like at least 4th to pass somebody. That's what was good about that turbo kit. The Greddy one was like, dude, you could just roll in the throttle and then 6th, and like it's already basically boosting. It was fun. So, but yeah, case swap, and we'll figure it out from there.
That's pretty awesome. Well, we have a lot to look forward to in 24. Sean might be going to Grid Life, putting down faster track times than Damon.